Welcome everybody to our 1 o'clock at 1:30, where we are talking to you about ways that you can expand your business right now. And with me is my amazing co-host, Paul Ramsey. And what we are talking about today is how you can make $1,000 today. And I came across Karen Yankovich on LinkedIn because she was sharing, she's doing live videos and she was giving amazing ideas of how you can go live and make $1,000. And one of the ideas that she shared, I was like, oh my God, this is so brilliant. So I shared it with Paul and I was like, hey, Paul, let's do this thing. And Paul was like, let's do this thing. Were you not? Let's do this thing. Oh, you are muted. Why are you muted? There we go. He's like, there you go.
There. So I was trying to be well behaved again.
Yeah.
I saw it and I thought, I was just very impressed. I thought she's not making grand claims. I don't know, Karen, but right away I was like, she's totally just talking about practical, useful, optimistic ways of looking at opportunities that always come from crappy situations like this. That's the reality. Part of your success in a terrible time like this is going to be determined by your mindset. And she's got a great mindset.
Yeah, she does. And so what we decided to do after both of us watched it and we said, hey, we're going to take her up on one of our ideas is to bring her here so we can talk about her ideas with you. And so guys, if you want to talk about your ideas with Karen and with us in real time and see if you can turn that into $1,000 today, viralconnectivity.com/live. This is where you can join us. And Karen, hi, how are you, love?
I'm good. How are you? I'm good. It's so good to be here with you guys.
Yeah, I love your live videos because a few things. One, they're short, they're to the point, and they give amazing value right away for people. And so the one that I loved and I shared with my community and my sister and Paul and everybody else is the one where you're talking about a pilot program and you're talking about like what's the difference between like don't call it beta and here's how you can run a pilot program. And what I loved about what you did, you gave an example that most people will never consider actually doing that, and that was with an interior designer, and you actually gave the entire spiel of like an interior designer, this is how you can make money right now, $1,000 today. So can you share that a little bit?
Okay, well, I don't know if I recall the exact example of the interior designer.
I will tell you.
Yeah, tell me, because here's the thing. I love to brainstorm like that, and that's why I started to do these videos, because I think that we all get caught up in what we can't do, and I love to think of ways that we can shake out what we can do.
Yeah. And so what you were talking about in with the interior designer, you said, okay, you cannot walk into other people's homes right now. And this is why I love the example, because there are so many people who have to go in interface with people face-to-face, gyms, right? Like fitness instructors, interior designers, realtors. And you said, well, you can't walk in. So how about you take a room in the house and you help them decorate one room in the house and you turn that into a pilot program. But you said it way better than
oh yeah. Okay, now I remember the example. So, well, let's take a step back and talk about what I was describing as a pilot program. Basically, what I was saying, and I cannot take full credit for this because Stu McLaren, who's one of my business mentors, he talks about creating a founder's launch. And what a founder's launch is, listen, I've got this idea. I'm going to create this program. I'm not really sure where it's going to go yet. But in order to do it, I've got to get started. And I'm offering this at a really amazing value right now. You'll get, whatever it is, lifetime access, whatever you want to do, $100 a month for the next few months. So for $500 for the next year or something, you'll get full access to my program. And here's what the program is going to be. And I think there was an interior designer on the call. So on the chat.
Yep.
So she said, well, how would I do that? I go, well, here's how you would do that. You could say, listen, we are all stuck in our houses. We're looking around at our carpets and at our walls and, trying to think of things. And we're like, I got to update this. Right. But I don't really have the money right now to invest in a $10,000 interior designer, but I would be willing to pay a certain amount of money every month for support around this, for support as I decorate my new house or as I move, I can come up with 1,000 ideas around this. Wow. And you flat out say to people, I don't know where this is going yet. That's why I'm doing this so inexpensively. You need to do this to people that you already know. You can't do this to a cold audience, because a cold audience is going to be like, you don't know what you're doing, but you want me to give you money anyway, but you go to your warm audience and you say, for $100, this is what I'm going to give you. And I'm going to give you way more value than I've ever given you before. And this is how you continue to build out a program like that.
Right, which I love, because a lot of people, where am I? Here I am. Hello. Because a lot of people are sitting there stuck going like, I don't have a program. I don't have a service. What would I do? Right. And like, so one of my friends is a caterer and she makes food in her house. And she's like, Fudge, how I'm going to create that for people. So Passover is coming, and now she's offering Passover meals to people. Right. Yeah. And I was like, hey, you can actually, there we go. I'm like me and my buttons. You can actually jump on StreamYard, which is the easiest thing ever, right? And just show people like, hey, here's your Passover menu. We'll cook this together.
Exactly. And you can even like give them ahead of time, give them a shopping list a week ahead. You can drip it all out to them. I mean, you can even use that same example. It doesn't even have to be like a holiday like Passover. It could be you are working from home and expected to teach your kids,
right?
And you still have to feed them, right? You still have to have clean clothes. So I'm going to help you for $100 a month. I'm going to give you a shopping list, and then every Saturday morning, from 8 to 9 a.m. or something, while your kids are still sleeping, we're going to jump on a Zoom call with a few people, and we're going to just start to batch cook some of these meals so that you're ready for the week. Right now, do you need to pay $100 to do that? You don't. But are you going to do it if you don't? Probably not, right? If you invest in it, you'll take a little bit of time to do it. And you'll be so grateful that somebody made it easy for you, that you're happy to invest. And remember that the key piece to that is you're working from home and homeschooling your kids and all these other things. But what that means if you're working from home is you're still getting a paycheck.
Right. So
you're willing to invest to make your life a little bit easier right now.
Right. And what's nice about what you're sharing, because I was thinking about this for myself, I'm like, Fudge, to make, $1,000, all you need is 10 people, right? It's not like that's not a lot. And so when you're thinking about it, wow, 10 people, I can make $1,000. And if I'm teaching just this one thing, right, next month I can teach another thing. Other people will benefit from that.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. When you do this, there's going to be a percentage of those people that say, I love this Saturday morning thing, but what would it look like if I said to you, I want to spend a half a day with you to plan out my kids' lunches for the next month,
right?
Or to go through my cabinets, to clean out my cabinets, right? Like to go through, can you spend an hour, forget the group. I want you and me. I don't have time. Just listen to everybody else in the group and their issues because I'm busy. Wow. So what if I gave you $500 or $1,000? Could you spend an hour or two with me and help me organize my kitchen? There are going to be people that want to do that. So when you do these lower end offers, I want you to be ready with the higher offer, because that is where the money is in this. And this is I read something somewhere, and I don't know how true it is, but I think it's true, that in the last recession was when Airbnb and Slack and Uber and all of these billion-dollar companies, they started. They started from, the recession and having to shift the way we do business.
Yeah.
I think that's happening again now. And those of us that shift with this are the ones that are going to come out on the other side of it, not only supporting people that are dying for our help, but supporting ourselves and our businesses and our families and our lives abundantly.
I love that. I love it. It's so true. And, a lot of people are kind of like in this lack mentality mode of like, there's no money out there, everybody's laid off, which is not true for everybody. There are still, right? There are still people who kind of like plan for the future. There are still people who are like super wealthy and super rich, who want the luxuries and don't want to give them up, even though they're stuck in their mansions. Right? There's so many people out there that have disposable income, and there are people, I think today I was on a call, they were talking about like frantic money, like nervous money, ready money, and like oh shit money that is there for people to grab. And when you're talking to people at those levels, they are looking for ways to like, how can I shift? How can I adapt? How can I, take advantage of this just like we are, right? And so if you have a way for that, yeah.
And you know what? Here's the thing. It really is. It comes down to people with an entrepreneurial mindset too, because a lot of it is really around your mindset. I actually, I have a CFO for my business, and one of the reasons I hired her is because I don't pay myself enough money. If somebody drops $10,000 into my business, I'm like, wow, I can hire that new business coach, and I can do that. So people are getting stimulus checks. People are getting maybe even grants for their businesses.
Right.
If you're looking to take that money and go shoe shopping, then you're not an entrepreneurial mindset and you're good. But maybe you're willing to take a couple $100s of that money and support your life so that you can be more successful on the other side of this. And those are the people that need and want our help right now.
Right. And Paul, you were saying that you were doing something similar after watching Karen's video, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just, again, what she did in that video was just so sensible. And I was like, yeah, why? And so I started thinking about it. And, if I have been working on that World Wellness Online Conference, right? And so I was planning in so Karen, I'll give you the short story. And for people who maybe haven't heard earlier episodes. So I primarily make my living as an entertainer. And so like when all this stuff went down, all my shows went away. And so I had no, my main source of income was gone. Now I'm trained as a hypnotist. And so I do see clients as well. But now people are less willing to come in and meet with you for client-based stuff, right? So I thought, all right, I still want to be of service and I want to do something. So I organized a completely online wellness conference and I built it in 9 days. And I got 35 different professionals from all different kinds of wellness areas. And we put this on. We put it on absolutely free just to help people in this time of doing social distancing and everything. Well, as I went through that building process, I was managing like digital logistics with all these other professionals. And I was surprised how many of them didn't have a YouTube channel, had never used SoundCloud before, didn't use they had a Gmail account, but they didn't use any of the other Google apps that come with it when you, and so people they kept commenting to me and saying, this really shows me how much stuff I'm missing that I ought to be doing. And then I saw your video and I was like, all right, it totally just dovetailed for me. And so I created a founders launch that actually went live today. And I'm looking for 10 hypnotists who want to get help decluttering their business, using low-cost platforms like Google to manage their calendar, their communication, their form creation, all that stuff that I've been doing for years. And I'm totally doing what you said. I'm like most other mentorship programs in my profession are $5 to $10 grand a year. And I was like, all right, it's the birth of this thing. I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but I'm going to over deliver on value. And so what I asked is I said $100 a month with a 3-month advance buy. So you're in for 300, right? And I'm like, so if I sell it to 4 people today in the next 24 hours, I make $1,200, right?
Yep.
And I've given them extra structures after that for if they want to continue beyond the 90-day initial period, the rate changes a little bit. But that way I thought limited it to 10 people. I think I'm going to do a lot of step-by-step hand-holding. There's going to be a huge time investment on my part. I limit that so I don't get buried, right? And yet I'm helping people change their business and get their business streamlined, reduce their costs. I think it's going to be really, really cool.
And what's really nice about what you just did is like you didn't go like, maybe they need a stress hypnosis thing. Let me go and create a stress hypnosis course that will help them reduce the stress that they're going through right now with the corona. And let me try to sell that, right? So what you did was different. You're like, I see these people and they're struggling and they don't have any of that stuff. I talk to them. They know they have this problem and they want to solve it. And so now you're like, okay, you told me this is what you want. Here it is. You didn't go like, I think this is what you want. Now try to sell it.
Right. So the first thing I saw a lot of my colleagues do, not a lot, I saw probably 4 or 5 of my colleagues who immediately saw the need that people had to learn how to do online client sessions. Mm-hmm. And I saw a quick burst of, I'll teach you how to use Zoom to do online client sessions. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And I thought about it for a second, but I was like, but just being able to offer an online client session isn't going to really help your business that much if you don't have the ability to manage your clients digitally, right? It's not going to be just about being on Zoom. You've got to see the bigger picture of like, you can't go in and hand a client an intake form on a clipboard anymore. They're going to have a Google form or some Jot form or something, right? And there were all these things that I was like, but if you don't have these things in place first, the online sessions isn't going to save your business.
Right.
And so that's where I was. And again, I think that really came from, I feel like Karen got my gears turning on that when I watched her thing. You know, I was like, it's more than that. And yes, that helps and people can do that. The other thing I see in my industry, and Karen will probably get this, is I see a lot of people who are they're offering more hypnotism trainings. And I was like, if you're a hypnotist and you know how to hypnotize people, learning more ways to hypnotize people, I don't see how that's going to get you more clients. Like, it's going to give you a breadth of knowledge, right? But like, how's that going to guarantee that more people come to you? That'd be like if I was an interior designer and I was like, I can do more kinds of interior design. You're like, no, you need to get people to want to use an interior designer in the first place. Right, Karen? Am I right about that?
No, you're absolutely right. But here's the thing, Paul, that I think that we need to not underestimate the importance of. You are still you have to stand out from the hypnotist crowd. And that's why I teach LinkedIn marketing, because I think that on LinkedIn, the first thing you have to do when you're doing, I think, any kind of marketing, but surely LinkedIn marketing, is understand what you want the end game to be. And your end game isn't the $100 a month you're going to get from these people. Your end game, hopefully, is that a percentage of these people are going to want more from you. And you're going to build out some revenue stream from this. And in order to do that, you have to look worthy of it, right? And that's really why I think, LinkedIn is the place to really create that brand, to tell the world why are you different than other people? What makes you stand out? So the first thing the first two things I think you need to do before you do any marketing, but certainly LinkedIn marketing, is why me? What makes me different? And what's the win look like for me here? Like, what does a win look like for me? It's not the $1,000 you're making today, because you can't do that every day, but you can do it to shake some money out. But that's why I want you to be ready for when some of those people say, I want more. And that's where that's in this moment in time, I think that's where the millionaires will be made, because I think that we need to stand out. There's I don't know about you guys, but the minute this coronavirus thing hit, my phone blew up. I can't keep up with direct messages on all the different platforms. Yeah. Everybody's online now. Everybody's digital, and I can't keep track of it, right? Yeah. So I think that you've got to stand out from all of these other people now that are be like, I'm going to be the online trainer for this. Like, you got to go to LinkedIn and say, I've been doing this for this long. This is my credentials. This is why I'm different. And be willing to talk to people. You can't talk to people for $100 sale, but you can for $1,000 sale or a $5,000 sale, right? Wow. So that's where I think we want to be positioned. Who are the people, not just that can buy our stuff, but that can get us in front of other people, right? That might buy our stuff, or, who are the media talking about these things? So there's so much more to this. This is just the opening opening bid, like getting people into your world. But you got to be ready on the back end, which is why, Paul, I agree with you. These people that are just teaching these things, if they're not ready to support the business, then they're going to be out of business. So as you're creating these $1,000 offers, you got to be ready with how to support these people further.
So I got actually a question for you about LinkedIn. And this is from our Google Plus days, right? So there's a challenge with LinkedIn that you cannot follow the specific people that you actually want to build a relationship with, right? So one of my clients that I was supporting today, we're connected, right? First degree and all that stuff. She's posting, I never see it in my stream, like never. So is there a way to be like, hey, I want to follow with these 5 people without Sales Navigator, because just LinkedIn, right? Is there a way I want to, she's like, I don't think so.
Here's the deal. That's why Sales Navigator is worth the money.
Yeah.
That's why Sales Navigator is worth the money, because you can pick 10 or 20 people that are valuable to your business and save them as leads on Sales Navigator. Nobody sees that but you.
Right.
And now you see their content in a separate little wall. And that's hugely valuable. If you're really doing LinkedIn marketing strategically, spending I mean, a half hour, a couple times a week on LinkedIn. Sales Navigator is worth 10 times what you invest in it, because it's going to manage, it's going to leverage your time. You don't have to go look them up. Like, you could take a little piece of paper and write their names and look them up, you know, but as your network grows, it gets harder to see those people. Sales Navigator allows you to put them in a separate wall. It allows you to do all kinds of other cool search things. I'm a big fan. Someday LinkedIn's going to offer an affiliate program for it, and it's going to buy me a house, you know, in on the beach somewhere, because I sell it so much. I just don't make any money on it.
But the challenge with Sales Navigator is that most people on LinkedIn don't have Sales Navigator. Only the people that want to reach into other people have Sales Navigator. And so now you have chats going on in two places, one in LinkedIn and one in Sales Navigator.
Well, yes, but I teach people to keep the Sales Navigator. I teach people to keep all chats out of Sales Navigator. So if you have somebody you want to reach out to, and it came up on your Sales Navigator, well, I still go back to LinkedIn proper and message them there, so that all of your messaging is in one place. Because I agree, that is a massive pain in the neck to have messaging in two different places. So I do, to the best of my ability, I keep all messaging in LinkedIn.
It's just, you know, it's like LinkedIn, everybody's like, go to LinkedIn, it's so great, but it's so difficult to build a relationship on LinkedIn.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yes, it is, because like, okay, so same way, I don't see the people that I want to stay in touch with, they don't see me, right? And so for me to stay in touch with people, I have to go to Sales Navigator, put them in list that I want to follow them, be able to connect with them, right? Message them, interact with them and all that stuff. And hopefully, I don't know, they'll see my content when my content is up there. So me just creating content and putting it on LinkedIn doesn't necessarily.
I hear you saying that, but I don't know if I believe that it's actually true.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I love it.
Because, you know, like you're doing right now, you're broadcasting live to LinkedIn and multiple other platforms. Right. I do the same thing. And if I broadcast, those daily videos I'm doing, they get broadcast to LinkedIn, Facebook, my Facebook page, my Facebook group, Twitter, where I have over 100,000 followers, and YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you that I get probably 5 to 10 times the engagement on LinkedIn as all of the other platforms combined.
So is that because you are a LinkedIn person, like because you drive everybody to LinkedIn, or is that because this is where you live? You live in LinkedIn? And so everybody's
I don't live in LinkedIn. No? I mean, I think I spend as much time in Twitter as I spend on LinkedIn. I don't think that's the case. I think that I think LinkedIn shows live video to your audience way more than all the other platforms do. And there's just a lot more engagement there. So, and I also think that you have to be strategic about your content on LinkedIn. Yeah. It's not, you don't post the same way you do on the other platforms, but that's the same with all platforms, right? You can't put the same thing on Twitter that you put on Facebook, that you put on Instagram. So I think if you're strategic about your content on LinkedIn, and you do things like tag people, and not tagging people randomly, but tagging people that you think like, hey, you know, hey, Susie, we were just talking about this yesterday, kind of thing. Sharing content, sharing other people's content just as much as you're sharing your own content. Yep. Using hashtags. I think that you'll get the visibility, and you don't have to post anywhere near as much as you post on other platforms. So I hear what you're saying, and I can't see your stats, so I can't say it's not true. But I think that when I work with people, we create a very simple process. Most of my private clients do use Sales Navigator, because it saves them time, and you know, this time is not something you can regenerate. I also am very adamant about making sure that everything I teach follows LinkedIn's terms of service, meaning I'm not giving my username and password to anybody else. So therefore, my VA, my assistants, they can't log into LinkedIn for me. So I've got to do it myself. So if Sales Navigator alleviates some of the burden for me of the time I'm spending on LinkedIn, it's well worth my money.
Yeah, I hear you. It is one of these things where you do, like, building relationships take time, right? That's what it is. It takes time to build relationships.
It is, but if you build them intentionally, up front, but on a very small level, by the way. I'm not talking about on a massive level. I'm never going to teach you to connect with 100 people a week on LinkedIn. But if you can think of 5 people who you think this video series would be really valuable for, and if they would share this video series in front of their audience, and you connect with them and nurture them a little bit and build a relationship with them, your business is going to grow so fast.
That's true.
By that very micro targeted, relationship building.
Yeah. What we're doing today, we are sharing with you the naked truth, where we're bringing people in to tell you how it is and know how we would like it to be, or how people are telling you that it is. So we have a few questions from people watching us. So Adil, thank you so much for being here. And if you want to jump in and talk, just let me know, raise your hand, and we'll have a conversation. You don't have to be on camera. You can just turn your microphone on and we can talk. And he's saying the link on Facebook and stuff was not correct. So viralconnectivity.com/live. We have a few more minutes. Hop on in. Heather is saying that I watched Tifat the other day with Stephanie Liu. She's the one I was telling you about the graphics. Thanks.
Heather Bates. Yeah, Heather's in one of my programs. And apparently we were just talking about you today.
Oh, there you go. So this helps. And Aaron is asking on YouTube, he's saying, on LinkedIn, how many do you get to watch you live, as in a number of watching you live?
I mean, it depends. Yeah. Sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 110. Sometimes it's 200. It depends. Yeah. And, it really depends for everybody on the time of day of week, how long you broadcast for. These videos that I've been doing are short videos. So the short videos don't get as many people on live because I'm not on there long. Yeah. But I get people on there very quickly. Like they jump on right away. So if I do a longer video, then you're going to get higher numbers that join me live. So I definitely get, and which is great because you get questions like this, right? Which you don't, it's a lot harder to get questions like this when you're live on other platforms, the way you can on LinkedIn.
Well, maybe. Here we are. Adil, do you want to jump in and ask your questions? Because you asked it privately. His question is, one issue I see with LinkedIn is that it seems that the same technique is being used to connect with prospects, and they notice it and are turned off from it. So the question is, how do you connect in a personal way?
Yeah. So, there's a lot of answers to that question. Yeah. Like I said from the very beginning, I am not looking for you to connect with hundreds of people at a time, nor am I really wanting you to connect with a cold audience. I did a podcast. I have a podcast called Good Girls Get Rich. And we did an episode a couple of months back on how to use LinkedIn to connect with warm audiences. I would much rather, Adil, you did things like join a chamber of commerce that has 1,000 members, and then cherry pick through the member directory the 10 people that you think could be really valuable to your business, and then send them a warm connection request that says, hey, we're both members of the, blah, blah, blah chamber, and I'd love to know more about how you use it, or whatever. I think that there's ways to find warm audiences. I also think that personally, I think I would also not only look at LinkedIn to prospect directly, but to understand the power on LinkedIn to do what I call center of influence marketing. Mm-hmm. So who has an audience of people similar to your audience, like this conversation we're having right here, right?
Right.
How can you connect more with people like this so you can get in front of more audiences? Are there podcast hosts that have podcasts that meet guests like you that maybe you could be a part of? One of the things that I do on LinkedIn is on the internet, I search like all business magazines, online business magazines, and I go to them and I type the word LinkedIn in the search, and I look to see all of the journalists that write about LinkedIn marketing. And then I go back to LinkedIn and I connect with the journalists on LinkedIn, because I want that journalist the next time they write about LinkedIn to use me as a source.
I love
right?
it.
So it's not just about prospecting directly. Sometimes the way to make the most money on LinkedIn is the indirect prospecting. So we don't feel like those people going, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. But there's still lots of ways you can leverage warm audiences and go straight for the like I like to call them collaboration conversations. Like, let's talk and see how we can best support each other. And in some ways, how we can best support each other, you can buy my stuff, right? But if you start with that, you're never going to get anywhere.
That's totally true. And we started with like, how do you make money? How do you make $1,000 today? And the path is exactly what Paul was doing, following Karen's advice. Find out what the market already needs, and then come out and offer it in a pilot program that they can help, that you can help them get what they need. And then always have in mind that, hey, there's another level, right? Because some people will want the next level. Always have that in mind. have that ready so that when someone asks, you know what to say.
So can I tell you the example that we were talking about in my program this morning that your name came up? So I have a designer in my program, and she was, struggling a little bit with trying to figure out how she was going to get clients. And, I said, there's got to be a lot of people now that have businesses that are just closed for the time being.
Yeah.
And, they've got a little extra time on their hands, and they're looking at their website, and they're looking at their graphics, and they're looking at their colors, and they're looking at all their header images and their social media, and they're having a headache, but they're not really sure if the time is right to invest in that. So one of the ideas we came up with was, what about, but there's a lot of people doing video right now.
Mm-hmm.
So what about if you offer a package for, like, say $200, where you create the graphics, the transparent overlays like you're using right now, right, for this, and you give them a package where there's 3 intro slides and 3 outro slides, and then 4 transparent overlays, and you sell that for $200. And you can find a lot of people doing video right now who will pay for that. I have no ability to do graphics, right? I pay people to do my graphics. So of that, right? So let's say you can get 10 of those people, that's $2,000. Some of those people might say, well, all right, tell me what it would look like if we started to revamp my website. Right. And that's how your thing came up, because Heather said she was watching your videos and saw your overlays.
Ta-da, very nice. See, and what's really nice about this whole internet thing, eventually we all know each other, because if we're running in the same circles, we're all talking to the same people.
How crazy is that, right?
What's that?
Yeah. How crazy is that?
Yeah, the internet is so big, and we know each other. And so now your people know me, my people know you, right? And especially if you're doing the same thing, if you are in, if you're an internet marketer, then you're running in the internet marketing circles. If you're a designer, you're running in the designer circles. If you're a hypnotist, you're running in hypnotist circles. So one of the challenges would be going to the people that you know and offering them your services. Don't do that. Go to the people that support them, right? Like Paul was saying, like, I'm not offering hypnosis to other hypnotists. English. I'm not doing that, right, Paul? I am teaching them how to run businesses how to run their businesses.
I'm going to tell you, it's so funny that you brought that up, though. If it is the single, most infuriating pet peeve about my colleagues is and of course, not all of them, but there is a substantial amount of my colleagues who keep doing this model where they are on Facebook and they'll friend you on Facebook, and then as soon as you accept their friend request, they ask you to like their business page. And I'm like, why are you trying to get me to like your hypnotism page? I'm already a hypnotist. I'm not your lead. And it happens so much that I sometimes just want to go absolutely crazy. I've made rant videos a couple of times where I'm like, can you please, I just want to help. Can you please stop doing this? It's the lack of small business training that exists in my profession is astounding to me. It really is. It's scary.
But you know what? It's not just your profession. I think
I know, but that's the one I have eyes on, so I see it the most.
Yeah. It's really amazing. And I've talked about, my sister is an interior designer. That's why I automatically send her your video, Karen. And they are all in the mindset, there's a complete difference, right? Mindset between designing a room and then having a business, accounting, marketing, sales, teams, all that stuff is completely different, 2 brains. And she's like, but I just want to make your house pretty. Why do I need to learn sales right now? Right? And it's so hard because, all I wanted to do is sell cupcakes. And
we want to do what we're good at. That's what it really comes down to, right? We want to feel the neurotransmitter release of reward chemicals like dopamine, right? And so we want to feel that I tried to do something and it worked and I get the reward release. And sales is the worst thing ever for that for most people. Anytime that sales are involved, it's I tried it and it didn't work and I failed. And now I need to go try it and it's not going to work and it's going to. And after I do that 100 times, maybe I'm going to finally get someone. And in so many people, that's just not the way they want to live their day-to-day lives. Being rejected over and over and over again. It's a real challenge for small business owners. I get it.
You know what, Paul? That's why I teach what I teach. Because I think that we're seeing so many people that are taught things like, funnels. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do funnels, like funnels and all this other stuff. That if you're a hypnotherapist or you're an interior designer, you don't want to learn how to do a funnel. Right. Do you know what I mean? So let's use LinkedIn. Let's get you some big, fat, juicy $5,000 and $10,000 clients so you can pay people to do those other things. And on LinkedIn, it's not as salesy. Right. It is more just relationship building. It's just having conversations with people. And that's why I kind of, I don't normally teach how do you make $100 sale or how do you make $1,000 today, but I've been doing it now because I think that the mindset people understand it. I'm not really looking for your $100. I want 2 of those 10 people that bought my $100 thing to buy my $5,000 thing. Because then I have $10,000 a month and I can pay people to do some of these other things. And it doesn't feel like sales because I've just been providing value and providing service. But you've got to look worthy of their money. You've got to stop thinking about what everybody else is charging. Right. You've got to create a brand that positions you as if you're peers with the most influential people in your industry. And that happens on LinkedIn.
Right. It used to happen on Google+. You can still do that on Facebook. You can still do that on Twitter. The process is the same process regardless of what platform you're on. Be human, connect with human, help them solve a problem, right? And let them know where to get the solution. That's the other thing, right? And you don't have to have funnels or anything like that. You can have a PayPal button that they're like, just pay here and then we're good and you're done. One of the questions that Adil is asking, he's asking 2 questions. One, okay, Karen, this is day 1 of your business. Here is step 1. The first step you're recommending is go to the Chamber of Commerce. In your example, it would be LinkedIn, for example, to find people and connect with them. Second, let them know about what you have to offer, the $100 thing. Third, go to the next level. So his question is how do you communicate that? How do you communicate to the world what you're offering in a way that doesn't feel like spam?
I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit like a broken record here, but LinkedIn, right?
But how do you on LinkedIn approach people and not appear
you let your profile do some of the heavy lifting for you. You have an about section that talks about that's instead of saying I'm a CEO and I've got all these credentials, you say, when I see my clients make their first $10,000 from their video series, I want to put their stats on my refrigerator like my kid's report card. Yeah. Because then people are going to be like, wait, I want that, right? So you don't tell me about you, but make it about me. Tell me stories about the amazing things that happen when you're in somebody's world and the results that they get. And let your LinkedIn profile do some of that heavy lifting. That's why having lots of free content is important. Right now I'm doing daily videos, weekly live workshops, and I have a podcast that goes out every week. All of that is at no cost to people, so I am providing, by the time people pay me, and by the way, they reach out to me often from my podcast and say, you know what, I had somebody reach out to me recently that said, I love your East Coast energy and we need that in our West Coast business. Nice. So if you come to me and you want somebody that's going to sit back and, that's not me. I'm going to be all like, let's get it done. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Right. And all of this stuff that I put out there provides value. People get a sense for what my expertise is. And that's how they know if I'm the right person for them. And if so, how they can reach out to me. But you have to have a clear path to do that. So I think that what you're asking, it's not so easy to just answer. Those are not the 3 steps. I mean, those are 3 steps in a very basic environment. Yeah. But I think that you've got to have a clear understanding of what you want the end game to be. What does a win look like? And then you reverse engineer the process to get that win.
And because we are on 30-minute shows and we're always running longer, then here's what we're going to do. You can leave your comments right here on viralconnectivity.com/live. You can leave your comments on Karen on LinkedIn, because that's where she sees you. You can leave your comments on all our profiles where you're watching our videos right now. If you have any question, comments, how do I do this for myself? Hey, why don't you talk about this thing and that thing? Let us know, because we're going to be here every day except the weekends. 1 p.m. Central, God willing, if the internet and technology is playing nice. And our goal is to really help you, me and Paul, get the naked truth and actually know what is smoke and mirrors, what is BS, what is real, and how you can run your business efficiently, easily, without all the bells and whistles that that usually people make you think that you need, right?
That's it.
So Paul, I'm gonna be teaching people how to do StreamYard, because it seems like a lot of people want to dive into live streaming and not knowing how to do that. We're gonna have a little community going on for this, and even a calendar of what to do every day. You are going out and actually helping people with their small business, right? And how to get that online and how to get that working out. So I'm gonna have a link for that hopefully next week. Where can people find your stuff?
My stuff?
Your stuff.
My stuff is, if you're on Facebook, you can find me on Facebook and reach out to me on Facebook. And on the site right now, oh gosh, wasn't prepared for that URL. Hold on.
I'm always like, Paul, what's going on right now?
I know. Well, I was all focused on what we were doing with Karen. besthypnosistraining.com/bright-idea-enrollment.
Okay, so we're gonna go to Paul's Facebook and you'll find the link over there.
Yeah.
Too long. Right? And Karen, where people find you on LinkedIn and?
Yeah, well, I'm at Karen Yankovich everywhere, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook. But if you want to check out one of the weekly workshops, go to freelinkedinworkshop.com, and it will, we do a live workshop every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. So you'll still be able to we'll be done by 2:00, so you don't miss this show at 2 p.m. Eastern. So, or 1 p.m. Central, right? So come join me at freelinkedinworkshop.com, and I dive deep. And what I do at each one of these, by the way, what I've been doing, which has been a lot of fun, is at the end of each weekly workshop, I've been leaving time to do this brainstorming. Like, so you can be there and say, all right, what does my offer look like? What does my win look like? And we can get creative with your offer.
I love it. And I already shared it with a few of my clients. So hopefully you're going to have a flock of new people that you don't.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great.
So thank you guys very much for joining us today. Here are some ideas to make $1,000 today. We would love to hear what your idea is like. If you watched us and you're like, ooh, I should do this. Adil said, I'm going to go and work on my LinkedIn profile today. So awesome. One person down, awesome. $1 billion to go. So this is really exciting. So thank you very much, Karen. Thank you, Paul, for being here.
Thanks for having me. It was fun to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Karen. You were great. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, everyone.
We will see you guys. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday.
Tomorrow's Saturday. We're going to Monday.
We're going to Monday. And on Monday, what we're going to be talking about is...
God knows but what could happen between now and Monday.
I want to talk about...
the way everything's been going lately. Monday, we could be talking about the aliens, for all we know. So...
or Zoom photobombing, right?
Yes, Zoom
Let's
bombing.
Talk about Zoom photobombing after I calm down. So we'll see you guys Friday? No, Monday.
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 What day of the week is it? We don't even know anymore.
Somebody got Zoom bombed. Not going to mention any names.
Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on viralconnectivity.com/live. Maybe we should look at the Naked Truth domain. I think someone probably got it. Maybe. Don't get it.